Modern scholarship and gospel authorship. For over 2 centuries, numerous respected scholars have upheld the traditional view that the Gospels were written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. B.F. Westcott and F.J.A. Hort defended traditional authorship in their foundational work on the Greek New Testament. J.B. Lightfoot affirmed the traditional authors through detailed historical and textual analysis. A.T. Robertson supported traditional authorship through extensive New Testament scholarship. F. Bruce, in the New Testament documents, Are They Reliable?, argued for both the reliability and traditional authorship of the Gospels. D.A. Carson and Douglas J. in standard New Testament introductions, defend the traditional attributions. Craig Blomberg, in The Historical Reliability of the Gospels, argues directly for traditional authorship. Richard Bauckham, in Jesus and the Eyewitnesses, demonstrates that the Gospels are rooted in eyewitness testimony. N.T. Wright consistently supports traditional authorship within his historical work on Jesus and the early church. Conclusion. From the 19th century to today, mainstream biblical scholarship includes many leading voices who affirm that the Gospels were written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and that these texts are historically reliable. 6 ancient sources identify the Gospel authors as Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. 1. Early Roman witness, Rome c. 150 to 180 A.D. Justin Martyr, Rome c. 150 A.D., refers to the Gospel's memoirs composed by the apostles and their followers, Dialogue with Trypho 103.8, and explicitly quotes John 3 verse 3, 1 Apology 61.4. Justin's student Tatian, c. 180 A.D., produced the Diatessaron, made of 4, a gospel harmony beginning with John 1 verse 1, showing 4 authoritative Gospels already recognized. Napture 2. Europe, Apostolic Chain of Transmission. Irenaeus of Lyons, c. 180 A.D., a disciple of Polycarp, who was taught by the Apostle John, explicitly names the authors. Matthew, written among the Hebrews. Mark, Peter's interpreter. Luke, Paul's companion. John, the disciple who leaned on Jesus' breast, writing at Ephesus. Against Heresies 3.11. Papias, hearer of John and companion of Polycarp, distinguishes between deceased apostles and the living voice of John and other elders, confirming first-hand apostolic transmission, quoted by Eusebius, Church History 3.39. Even Bart Ehrman acknowledges Papias' tense shift indicates John was still alive while others had died. 3. Ancient canonical fragment, Rome, c. 180 A.D. The Muratorian fragment, the earliest NT canon list, explicitly identifies John as author of the 4th Gospel and describes its composition with apostolic oversight. 4. Egypt, Alexandria, c. 180 A.D. Clement of Alexandria confirms, Matthew and John wrote as eyewitnesses. John wrote last to supplement the earlier Gospels. The earlier Gospels were already accepted as true. Eusebius, Church History 3.24. Hemara 5. North Africa, Carthage, c. 207 A.D. Tertullian states plainly, Matthew and John were written by apostles, Mark and Luke by apostolic men, against Marcion 4.2. 6. Hostile heretical confirmation. Basilides, a Gnostic teacher, 170 to 138 A.D., quotes John 1:9 and John 2:4, showing John's gospel was already authoritative, even among opponents. Hippolytus, Refutation 7. What this proves? The testimony is early, 2nd century, geographically diverse, Rome, France, Asia Minor, Egypt, North Africa, and unanimous. Irenaeus, the key witness, stands only 1 generation removed from John himself. There is no rival authorship tradition for the Gospel of John in the early church. While minor debate existed over other Johannine writings, the authorship of John's Gospel was never disputed. Eusebius, Church History 3.24.17. Conclusion. Taken together, external testimony, apostolic succession, hostile confirmation, and internal evidence, the historical case is clear. The 4 Gospels were written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. If you want, I can make this debate